Hello, it's time for another Boozang feature release. And I know we did one already last week, but with the business intelligence or reporting dashboard, we received a lot of feedback and there was a couple of things we wanted to improve. So here goes. As usual, you go to the home page and scroll to the bottom to find these release notes. It's in a link here on the home page. You'll click in here and then you can see the latest release usually here on the recent forum posts. Today it's the release 8.2 and we have a bunch of new features mostly related to reporting dashboard. So I'm just going to show you these really quickly. So we'll go to our staging environment here to demonstrate these new features because they're yet to be deployed. So as usual, you remember you could configure and set your test suite that you run on your CI server, and then you can get a summary of those test results. And remember, you can configure many and switch here in the top. The difference is what we've done now is a couple of things. One thing we've done is that we've added this little arrow that condenses some of the reports. So now it's the cucumber feature report and root causes are like this in tabs. These represent the snapshots, so more around this particular run, right? And then as you scroll down, you'll see the trend reports. And there you have, for instance, the top 4 failed scenarios, which are in this time period. But you also have top 5 slowest scenarios, something we've added. And this is a little misleading, the name. It's not the slowest scenarios because that will always be the same. It's the trend with the scenarios that have a decrease most in execution. I mean, increase the most in execution time. So what we order for here is this, oh, compared to the average, this was this much longer. So the idea here is that you can find trends of test cases that are going in the wrong direction. So we think this could be really useful for us. And then, of course, as you can see, we also have tabbed the scenario breakdown and the scenario trends like this. And the scenario trend, we condensed the performance and the success rate, so it's easier for you to see the trends. Basically, is there a downward, for instance, is the success rate staying constant, but the performance going down or up, right? The idea here is that, of course, when you have difference in success rates, that also affects performance. So it's important that you correlate these two things. So I think this will help you. We also added this selection thing where you can select one of these runs and you can get a summary here in the legend. Another thing that we did is, this one that could kind of break out the tabs or put it back into tabs. And that's, of course, very useful if you want to print it, which is another thing that we've launched. It's because maybe you want to break out all those tabs for the print or just select certain things. And right now you see this overlap. We recommend that you print this in landscape. There was also a minor thing, a minor change on the tool side. So here, if I go back to staging, I'm going to close this printer dialog. And instead, I launched the tool. There was a thing that we were missing, which was basically when you're dealing with branches and stuff like that, they were sorted in kind of a random order. So if you look at branches now, you now have a sort order here. And that goes the same if you go in here and you try to browse on the modules, you also have a sort order here. So those are the updates this time. And then now we started to working on the version control of Boozang to improve that. So that's going to be in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned.